Ever found yourself so immersed in a task that you lose track of time and the world around you? That, my friends, is the magic of the flow state. The flow state is a mental phenomenon that we've all likely experienced at some point, even if we didn't know there was a name for it. It's that sweet spot where you're completely engrossed in a task, so much so that your perception of time is skewed and everything else around you fades into the background. It's a state of heightened focus and immersion, where your actions and awareness merge to create a sense of effortless concentration and enjoyment. Now, you may wonder who coined this intriguing concept. Well, the term flow state was first introduced by a Hungarian psychologist named Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi in the late 20th century. Csikszentmihalyi was fascinated by artists who would get so lost in their work that they would disregard their need for food, water, and even sleep. He began to study this peculiar state of mind, and through his research he found that it wasn't exclusive to artists. People from all walks of life engaged in various activities could and did enter this state of flow. From athletes to musicians, from writers to chess players, anyone who becomes fully immersed in what they are doing can experience this state. But why is this flow state so magical? Why are we discussing it today? Well, it's because when you're in this state, you are at your optimal level of performance. You're not just productive, you're hyper-productive. Your creative juices aren't just flowing, they're surging. It's like you've tapped into a hidden reservoir of potential within yourself, and you're operating at the peak of your capabilities. In essence, the flow state is your brain at peak performance, where creativity and productivity flourish. It's a powerful tool for achieving greatness, and in our upcoming segments, we'll delve into how you can harness its potential to elevate your life. Now, you might wonder, why should I care about achieving this flow state? Well, let me enlighten you. First off, let's talk about productivity. When you're in the flow state, you're like a well-oiled machine, effortlessly ticking off tasks from your to-do list. It's like being in a zone where time, distractions, and even self-consciousness evaporate. You're completely immersed in what you're doing, and that's when you become incredibly productive. But it's not just about getting more done. The flow state also sparks creativity. When you're fully engaged and your mind is free from distractions, your brain can make new connections, come up with innovative ideas, and solve complex problems. It's like having a light bulb moment, but on repeat. And guess what? It's not just for people in creative fields. Whether you're a student, a programmer, an athlete, or a chef, anyone can tap into this creative energy when they're in the flow state. Next, let's talk about learning and skill development. Research shows that people in the flow state learn faster and develop skills more effectively. This is because when you're fully immersed in a task, your brain is more receptive to new information, and you're more motivated to push your boundaries and improve. Now, let's touch on satisfaction and happiness. Achieving the flow state isn't just about enhancing performance. It's also about the satisfaction and joy you get from being deeply engaged in a task. When you're in the flow, you're not just doing something, you're fully living it. And that's a powerful feeling. It can make mundane tasks enjoyable and turn work into play. In conclusion, the flow state is a potent tool for boosting productivity, enhancing creativity, improving learning and skill development, and increasing satisfaction and happiness. Clearly, the flow state isn't just about getting things done. It's about enjoying the process and reaping substantial rewards. All right, we've established that this flow state sounds pretty great, but how does one get there? Let's dive right into it. Achieving a flow state is not as elusive as it may seem. It's like a dance, a rhythm we find with ourselves when we're fully engaged in an activity. First and foremost, it's essential to set clear and attainable goals. Goals are the compass that guide our actions, and in the context of flow, they provide the roadmap to our destination. Whether it's finishing a chapter of a book, completing a workout routine, or finalizing a business proposal, having a clear objective keeps us focused and motivated. Next, let's talk about distractions. Our modern world is filled with them, from buzzing smartphones to the endless stream of emails. To enter a state of flow, it's crucial to eliminate these distractions as much as possible. This could mean turning off notifications, creating a quiet workspace, or setting aside specific times for focused work. Remember, flow is all about immersion, and distractions are the arch enemy of immersion. Now, choosing tasks that match our skills is another essential piece of the puzzle. Flow happens when there's a balance between the challenge of a task and our ability to perform it. If a task is too easy, we get bored. If it's too hard, we become anxious. But when the task is just right, we hit that sweet spot where we lose ourselves in the work, achieving a state of flow. Taking breaks might seem counterintuitive when we're talking about achieving a deep focus state, but it's actually an important part of the process. Our brain is not designed for prolonged periods of intense concentration. Regular breaks refresh our mind, allowing us to maintain high levels of focus when we return to the task at hand. Think of these breaks as pit stops in a marathon, necessary for us to reach the finish line. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, achieving a flow state requires practice and patience. It's not something that happens instantly, it's a skill, and like any other skill, it takes time to master. So don't be discouraged if you don't hit your flow state right away. Keep trying, keep refining your techniques, and over time you'll find yourself slipping into flow more easily and more often. In conclusion, achieving a flow state is a journey, not a destination. It's about setting clear goals, eliminating distractions, choosing tasks that match our skills, taking breaks, and most importantly, practicing with patience. Remember, achieving flow isn't an overnight process. It requires dedication, discipline, and a dash of patience. So let's take a moment to recap what we've learned about the flow state. The flow state, a fascinating concept, isn't it? It's this unique and elusive state of mind where you're completely absorbed in what you're doing, so much so that everything else seems to fade away. Like a musician lost in their melody or an artist engrossed in their canvas, you're in the zone, fully immersed and focused. It's about being in sync with your task, to such an extent that time seems to stretch and bend around you. Now, why should you care about this so-called flow state? Well, the benefits are quite compelling. For starters, it supercharges your productivity. When you're in the flow, distractions melt away, your efficiency skyrockets, and you achieve more in less time. But it's not just about getting things done. Being in the flow also boosts your creativity. It allows you to make connections, generate ideas, and find solutions that might elude you otherwise. And let's not forget the most appealing benefit of all, happiness. Yes, being in the flow state can significantly enhance your overall well-being and satisfaction. So how do you tap into this incredible state of mind? It's about finding that sweet spot between challenge and skill, where your task is neither too easy to bore you nor too hard to overwhelm you. It's about setting clear goals, eliminating distractions, and giving yourself the time and space to dive deep into your task. And remember, practice makes perfect. The more you practice getting into the flow, the easier and more natural it becomes. And there you have it, the flow state, your secret weapon to unlock unprecedented levels of productivity and satisfaction. We've explored the fascinating world of the flow state together today. This state of heightened focus and immersion can truly revolutionize the way we work, learn, and create. It's a tantalizing prospect, isn't it? Imagine being able to tap into this supercharged mental state where tasks flow effortlessly, creativity abounds, and productivity skyrockets. However, remember, reaching this state isn't an overnight journey. It requires patience, practice, and a deep understanding of your own rhythms and routines. It might seem daunting at first, but the rewards are well worth the effort. So I encourage each one of you to give it a try. Start small, maybe with a hobby or a task you enjoy. Gradually, you'll begin to notice the difference it makes, and before you know it, you'll be riding the wave of the flow state in your daily life. Imagine a world where work feels like play, and time just slips away. That's the power of the flow state. So go on, give it a shot and unlock your true potential.